Thanks everyone for coming today. It's our last meeting for the 2024-2025 Over 50 Outside program. And I really appreciate you all being here. And especially a lot of you here are mentors and have, started year one. And I actually have, this is all about you all. This is all about celebrating what you all have brought to the table, what you've all learned. So I'm just going to dive right in and I have some questions for you. So if anything calls to you at any point, feel free to share your stories and unmute yourselves. If you want to raise your hand, that's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and give me one sec. Okay, so I'm going to share my questions with you all. And my first question is, or my first questions are, what are some highlights or things that you've gained through either taking the 52 hike challenge or taking the over 50 outside program? Maybe some learnings, and how did that impact your life? So I just want to hear from you all. And without further ado, I will stop my share and let you all, I could leave it on too if it helps you. Actually, let me do that, but I'd love to hear from you. So feel free to unmute yourself or raise your hand and we'll go from there. Can you all hear me or am I frozen here? Okay, I don't think I'm frozen. So I wanted to ask you all questions in this meeting, and I wanted to know if you've taken the program, what have you gained or overcome? What have you learned, and how did it impact your life? Okay, so I see someone in the chat, Elizabeth. I met someone online and met up to hike with her. That was so outside my comfort zone. I'm wondering, Elizabeth, how that made you feel afterwards. Were you like, I'm down to do this again? Or how was it afterwards? That's awesome, by the way. Way to go, and how to step out of your comfort zone. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question. And like I said, if any of these questions are something you'd like to share with us all, go ahead and pop on in. Oh, I love that. I'm meeting with her tomorrow to hike again. It was so fun. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that you went out of your comfort zone. Which was the next question? Did any of you make any new hiking friends? Maybe there was something really funny on the trail that happened during your over 50 outside 52 hikes, or was there some sort of memorable weather moment? Feel free to pop on in and unmute yourself or put it in the chat. I'm seeing Rachel pop in the chat. I have made so many wonderful friends, both near and far, from over 50 outside, some of whom are on this call. I love that. And I know, Rachel, you put together some trips and took some of the women out with you, and we loved that. We loved seeing that, and it's been really great that you were able to gather these women together.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it was
Shelly said,
fun. It was fun. And, some of it we did in connection with the retreat in Bozeman, which was really nice. And I was so sad we didn't do that this year because that was just a good opportunity to get, to sort of try to do something around that time. So that was definitely a lot of fun. And then later this year in gosh, I can't even remember when. I think in May, I'm going to go to Isle Royal with Sherry and Vicky and Caroline, all of whom I met through this challenge. And I'm really looking forward to that. And really, I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting, lots of the rest of you at different times and different places whenever we can. It's been a lot of fun.
I love that. Thank you so much, Rachel, for stepping up and making connections and creating your own little group. And I'm sure the women, and I've heard it myself, the women have really appreciated that. And it really takes, sometimes it takes someone just kind of saying, like, hey, I'm going to put this out there and see what happens. And it's really beautiful to see what comes from those opportunities. And we all help each other, and I think as we learn for ourselves whatever works for us on the trails, and then we're able to help others with that information, it really helps them to get out of their comfort zone. And also, you become a teacher to them, and I think that's like a really big part of the program and 52 hikes is, take someone out there, like help someone to get outside. And I think when they see that you could do it and you teach them, they're like, oh, I could do this too. And then they become leaders. And it's just such a really wonderful cycle.
Well, we all
And
learn so much from each other. It's really fun.
absolutely. I love that. All right. Well, let's move on. Um, let's talk about anyone who wants to pop in and talk a little bit about, what would you like to do differently going forward? Maybe there was an area of opportunity for you, or what's next? Like, what are you looking forward to in regards to like getting outdoors and continuing to hike and adventure in your life?
I'll talk for a second, although I've got laryngitis really bad.
Oh
Um,
no.
oh yeah, I get this a couple times a year, so it's no big deal. In fact, people in the thing will laugh at me. I think this is my fourth year in the 52 hike challenge, and I have absolutely no intention of stopping this. It builds every year, I find. And I find that what I counted as a hike my first year, I don't count as a hike anymore because it's basically just walk now. I challenge myself to bigger and better hikes, doing more adventures, and trying to get more people involved. So, and I think a lot of us have done that, is just, we started out and counted that walk around the neighborhood as a hike, and now we've gone to the hikes to Isle Royale and different places and challenged ourselves to more things.
I love that, Shelley. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I hope you feel better soon with your
I
throat.
feel fine. I just can't talk. And this is actually pretty good. Yesterday I couldn't talk at all.
I feel you. I've had a really bad long case of it myself, but thankfully I've not had it in a while. So thank you so much, Shelley. Elizabeth wrote, I just retired and I have a goal of completing the 1,200-mile Ice Age Trail, joining their alliance to help on the trail when not hiking. I think that's so fantastic, Elizabeth, and such a great example of how to give back and how to, especially when you have the time. There's so much need out there with our parks and public lands, and there are so many opportunities. I know in one of the previous meetings, we had a discussion on how to volunteer, and I'm sure you've seen there's been a lot of news about funding being cut for a lot of the parks. So they're always looking for people to help out, and there's lots of ways to continue to stay active, even if you're not hiking, whether you're volunteering at your local park. It's such a wonderful way to give back. You know, sometimes even docents they're looking for docents, people to lead hikes, and they'll do all the training for you. So I definitely recommend you look into that. And I know that I believe a couple of the um, mentors and women who have completed the 52 hikes have done maybe section hiked. Is there someone here on the call that has actually completed that trail, though? I'm curious. Um,
I have not completed it, but I've done a lot of different sections of it. In
I
fact,
was thinking that.
in fact, Elizabeth, I'd like to reach out to you, and we're going to be doing a lot of hiking in the Ice Age Trail this summer, and I'm actually moving to southern Wisconsin at this summer because my husband's finally retiring, and there's a lot more of the Ice Age Trail down there than there is in central Wisconsin.
Fantastic. I'm hopeful you both will connect on it, and that's such a wonderful goal. And you section hiking it is such a great way to get out there and do it, and make it fun. And and you'll get out there and you'll see how many days you want to do at a time, and make it work for you. And I'm excited to hopefully keep up on that and hear your story, Elizabeth, when you're done with that. What's next? Dawn says, I would like to try to get up to Mount Cathodin. And by the way, if I didn't say that right, someone feel free to correct me. In Maine this year. I have also been considering volunteering with a nonprofit here called Teens to Trails. That's wonderful. I'm guessing that program takes youngsters out on the trail and helps them to build their character and community. And there's just so much research out there of how impactful getting outdoors is for people, for young kids, for teenagers. So I'm really, really happy you're doing that, Dawn. Way to go.
So this year, my goal is to get out of my comfort zone. And because Texas is so huge, I would like to camp and go hiking. I tend to just hike at places I'm familiar with. And this year, I want to get out of my comfort zone and just drive, camp, and hike. It's a lot of state parks here in Texas.
Judith, would what would an ideal trip look like?
Um, um, my ideal trip would look like packing, not overpacking my vehicle, and actually, like, there's a place called Dinosaur something. So, and visualizing like driving 3-4 hours. Um, I have all my gear. I'm going to do solo hiking and camping because I feel more comfortable. Well, not more comfortable. I'm retired, and trying to drag other people during the weekday is impossible. So I would like to go from, I would like to start off like doing a 2-week road trip and go from one state park, camp for a couple of days and hike, and then drive to another state park, camp and drive to. So that is what I would like to start off doing before the summer heat um attacks Texas. And if it goes well and I'm not freaking out, each month I would like to do either a week or 2 weeks of each month just on a road trip, just camping and hiking.
That sounds really wonderful. Can you just show up to the parks and get your campsites, or do you need to book them in advance?
Um, I think in order to get and make sure, because some of these places do overbook, and I would
Yes.
have to make a reservation. There are some places where I've just a couple of years ago I would just show up and just shockingly, maybe people had canceled their reservation and I was able to get in. But yeah, I need to research, make reservations, and the ladies know that I like to overpack. I wish they were here to
Judith, I forget, where do you live? Are you near Austin?
Yeah, I live in Austin, Texas.
Because I wonder, have you ever connected with Betsy? I mean, Betsy's in Houston, but I know she likes to get out and go do things around in Texas.
I just texted her and she's actually driving here to Austin.
Oh,
So
good. So hopefully you'll see
that's
her.
why she's not on the call. So she
Oh,
owns
cool.
property. Her family owns property here in Austin. And
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
yeah,
she'd be a good one to get together with, I think. She likes to go out backpacking.
yeah.
I can vouch for Judith and the way she packs because we were in Bozeman, Montana together and she had the back of her vehicle loaded to the max. That's why I said you only need about a fourth of what you pack. You know, we kind of had her dump everything out and we started from scratch and said, no, you don't need all that.
And you were right, because when I got home, I did inventory and I used half the things I had packed in my vehicle and didn't eat half the food. It was a learning experience. So I want to get better at that, which you all have more years than I do. So it's going to take me a while to get
Judith, the best way to do it is go and make mistakes and realize that, okay, I don't need this stuff and don't take it next time. That's learning from your own errors is probably the best teacher in the world.
It's true. True.
And don't be afraid to ask other people what they're doing and what they've got and what they're using. And don't be afraid to ask because other hikers are so willing to teach.
Yes.
Because next month I'm going to be in Las Vegas and I'm actually flying there, and I have no idea if I need to just pack um safely my things, my hiking poles and bags, if it'll be safely stored underneath without them tampering with it. Because I know I can't bring my poles on my carry-on, my hiking poles.
No, you have to check that. And
Get a pair of poles
also,
that get a pair of poles that fold down small and put them in your suitcase and check them. You'll have no issues at all then.
Yeah, I flew twice last year with my backpack and my hiking poles, and I just put them in my backpack and checked them.
Not as a carry-on, but as a carry-on, or
No, not as a carry-on. I check in my checked luggage.
in check. Oh, okay.
check luggage. Yeah. And Judith, also another idea, because I know, and I think this is a great topic you brought up. I know camping is overwhelming nowadays for a lot of people because everything now, a lot of places you need to book online. I
Mm-hmm.
know here in New Mexico, there's some spots that are like first come, first serve, but then there's some places you need to reserve online. So if you started to kind of visualize your dream, trip, and you kind of like pencil it out and you're like, I think I would like to spend, this many days here, and start looking online. Another
Mm-hmm.
really great option is there's something called, like, here in California, and I'm sure in the US, there's BLM land. And BLM land, a lot of it you can just pull up. It's not always the prettiest, but
Mhm.
some parks, you know, there's BLM land that's maybe, you know, 15 miles away, for example. So even if you got to the park and they said, hey, sorry, we're out of spots, you
Mhm.
have like a backup. So maybe you could look into that. There's an app that I'm using called iOverlander. And that one, you know, I had the old version, which the new version I don't like, but that one you can kind of browse on a map. And it when you're on the map, there's a way to sort your options and to show you basically like it's called like free, what is it called? Let me think here. Hold on. And if anyone else knows what I'm talking about, feel free to chime in. But I'm just going to give you an example. There's you basically, once you go on the map of the area you're going to be in, there's a
Mhm.
way to sort and filter by what's called wild camping, and that's what I use. I like highlight wild camping, and sometimes I'll just pop in to the closest wild camping. Sometimes you find hit gems, like you're like, wow, like I feel like I'm at a national park. Um, so just you can read they tell you if there's internet reception sometimes, or people will leave reviews. And it's really important to obviously check that, because there's been a few times that I've driven up a camp spot and the trail was really not in good condition. So
Ooh.
just those are just some ideas to help you start kind of getting thinking through how am I going to make this happen, right?
Mhm.
Because planning, I think, is always the maybe one of the most stressful parts of a trip is that part where you're like, oh well, now I have to go on this website and book. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say for now. If anyone else has any other tips, feel free to chime in, because you all have a wealth of information as well.
Sherry, I wonder if you think you would recommend something like the Backpacking Badass program for Judith.
Backpacking badass program.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
took that, right? Yeah.
yeah, it was a good program. I mean, yeah, it's not necessarily, I mean, it teaches you not necessarily to be just a solo, but just a confident, traveler.
It's called Backpack.
Becoming a backpacking badass.
Okay, becoming.
Yeah, it's with
Allison.
Allison, and she's been a speaker before. We have some talks with
Yeah.
her available on our YouTube.
She likes to use me as an example of how far I've come.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
It sounds like a really good program, particularly, just because it teaches you how to be independent and how to, as I understand, I've never taken it, but like how to be safe, and she'll teach you stuff like, how to not pack all that stuff in your car and your backpack.
Yeah, I did let no, 2 years ago I went camping and I couldn't figure out how to keep my campfire on longer than 2 minutes. It kept so would she teach things like that, how to maintain a proper campfire?
Well, you can always like ask. I don't remember her teaching that specifically, but like you can ask people in the Facebook group, questions. And then if somebody else, has any tips.
Okay.
Also, I think funny that you say that about campfires, because I think building a campfire is something that I think is such a great skill to just learn and to practice. And so there's specific techniques on how to build it. You can go online and look up, like, I think even REI has a really good little set of videos. And there's like, you could build, the log house, version of it. But
Um,
anyhow, all that to just say that it would be good as you're going out and putting yourself out of your comfort zone and you're taking these camp trips on your own. You could go with the goal like, okay, I'm going to go for one night, and maybe you drive like 2 hours from your house so that if anything, if you're feeling uncomfortable or you need to go back and grab things, you're not too far from home. But you could
mhm.
make it a goal to learn something different on each of those trips, right? So like it could be like, my goal is to learn how to build a campfire and make sure that it's successful, that it stays on all night long, whatever the goal is. But that can motivate you also to continue to get out there and practice those skills as you're getting outside. And I think that's such a great skill to just all of us to practice, because you never know when you might need to build one. And it is, a 10 essential, is to be able to
Mhm.
really understand how to build a fire if you needed to do so. So
Oh, thank you, ladies. Yeah, thank you.
you got this, Judith. We believe in you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I said thank you.
You're welcome. Sherry said she got her granddaughter the kids series for Christmas and she plans on introducing her to more outdoors and hiking. That's beautiful. Um, Sherry said she traveled all over Iowa visiting a county park in each of Iowa's 99 counties. It was a fun
Mm,
adventure. Yeah, and I mean, those are really cool
wow.
things too, right? There's so many ideas like within our own states. Like for me this year, this is my big trip for the year. And when I get back home, there's still so many places I want to visit, so many hikes I want to go on. I think the opportunities are endless, and that's why I keep hiking. Is I just find that on every single trip, so far I think just on this trip, we've already hiked. My mom and I have hiked like 5 different times or 6 different trails or something, and it's just such a beautiful way to see all the places you're visiting.
Yeah, and I learned a lot about, about being a solo traveler in doing that, because I would start, just doing day trips around, from home, and then I
Hmm.
would do an overnight, but as the parks got further and further away, I started having to plan, for 2 overnights or a weekend, so
Okay,
I learned a lot about traveling and planning doing that adventure.
sweet.
Elizabeth had a note for you, Judith. She said, step out of your comfort zone and look for another retired hiking buddy. It's so worth it, and you can teach each other things. My sister is in I think it says, I can't read.
Thank
Okay, my
you.
sister is in San Antonio and also said she has a hard time getting camping reservations.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I see it. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah, there's another note in there from Colleen who has a couple of apps on there for you to look
See
at
that.
boondocking.
I'm taking screen prints. Okay. I mean, snapping pictures. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All
Because
right. Well,
before
oh,
52 hikes, I've never, I, I would never do a lot of things that I've done. I've done a lot of, hiking in the area, and I do get a little, especially when I read, uh, all trails. Sometimes I get a little nervous about hiking certain areas I'm not familiar with. So I need to like get out of my comfort zone more and just do it and just be more aware of what what's in my area, what's in the area. Because sometimes All Trail doesn't have it's iffy with their comments.
yes, right. Yeah. And definitely, I mean, it's good that you're reading them, because it does give you a general. I find that sometimes when I look at the comments and I'm gonna go do something, the recent comments are pretty relevant.
Okay.
So sometimes I've gone on trails where it's like, oh, the trail gets lost, halfway through the hike, and I still go try it out, and then it's like, oh no, they were right, Uh, so anyways, it's useful in that way. It's useful to have the downloaded maps, but at the same time, also, I think, knowing the difference between being nervous and scared and are you actually in danger, it's a really good opportunity to kind of like practice your own self wisdom that is, your own guidance, right? And so I think all of us you know, have to check in with ourselves when we're outdoors and we're, you know, kind of deciding like, does this hike feel safe? Do I have enough information? And that's why I
Mm,
think when we're first starting out on solo adventuring, it's nice to kind of stay within boundaries of like state parks
okay.
or maybe trails that are a little more popular. So that way you're not really alone per se,
Hmm.
you know, in case of an emergency. And then having those GPS devices are another really uh great, you know, tip, because then if knock on wood anything happened, at least you have some way of getting assistance or notifying someone.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Stephanie said in the first year of 52 of the with over 50 outside, I started hiking solo. Because I was
So that
slow.
was
I took a
so.
few lessons on hiking safety and venturing out. Thanks to 52 hikes and all your inspiring stories. I went to Patagonia in Argentina by myself, and it was one of the best things I ever did for myself. Wow.
Wow.
Way to
How,
go, Stephanie. Thanks for sharing.
wow. That's cool.
Love that. All right, I'm gonna end. Oh yeah, let's see. We're still gonna be chatting. I'm just gonna end the screen share here. Dawn says, for Judith, I read all trails, but also used the Maine Trail Finder book. And I joined Facebook groups about hiking Maine or other states I'm going to visit and search trails that way. That's also a really good idea. That's true. Um, because there are people on those you know, on the Facebook groups that are talking about recent trail conditions. um yeah, I'm with Dawn on that. I've joined my local like Facebook groups that have to do with hiking in New Mexico, and sometimes I'm on there and I'm just like, where is that hike? Actually funny, a woman I met through 52 Hike Challenge recently came to New Mexico and posted a photo of this beautiful place she went hiking, and I was like, where is that? And it's like a 45-minute drive from my house, and I just got to go for the first time. And
Oh,
it was Pueblo land. So the natives actually care for the hike, and it was really nice to support a local tribe, but also experience these incredible red rocks like 45 minutes from my house. And I wouldn't have seen it had I not been in, you know, one of the pages that she was posting on. So definitely a great recommendation there, Dawn. Thank you. I'm going to stop my share. And I do have you know, I want to give you guys an announcement of the future of over 50 outside. And just start off with just saying we are so thankful to you all for being a part of this over the last you know, 3 years. And we unfortunately had to make the difficult decision to basically after this year at on February 28th, we've had to discontinue support of the over 50 outside program. It really has been an unforgettable journey, and we are deeply grateful for the community we've all built together. Each one of you has contributed to making the program special and memorable, and the memories created will undoubtedly stand the test of time. And I mean, just being here with you all and hearing your stories and how you're going to continue, I know that in my heart. And I know while this chapter is closing, we are excited to continue to follow your journeys on social media, and hopefully we will see you again out on the trail. The over 50 outside groups will remain active, but we will no longer be managing them. Oboes nor 52 Hike Challenge. And the program for this year does conclude at the end of this month on February 28th, 2025. We want you to please continue connecting, sharing your hikes, and keeping each other inspired through these channels. We really want to thank each and every one of you for sharing your stories, pushing the boundaries of what can be achieved, and inviting others to join you on the trail. And especially to the mentors who have led the way, we are especially grateful and appreciative of your guidance and dedication. We really truly hope that you keep making memories, keep setting goals, and keep on hiking. And we can't wait to hear about your new adventures ahead. That's a note that you're all going to receive from myself and Oboes. And, we really have, it's been an honor to lead this group for the last 3 years. And I don't want to get emotional because I feel it right now. I think it's been wonderful to meet all of you. And with that, I want you all to know that you can still hike with the 52 hike challenge. Yes, the subgroup will not be supported at this time, but we still have the main 52 hike challenge pages. We have an official Facebook group. We want to encourage you to still take part in that, and to continue doing what you've been doing within a little bit of a bigger framework. And I do want to ask and put it out there, since maybe a mentor here or someone might watch this video later, if any of the mentors would like to continue to help running those groups, we would love for you to help us with that. If anyone feels called, I will be sending out an email requesting some assistance with that. And as I mentioned, that email will be sent out to everyone who has been a part of the program. I'm really sad that we're not going to continue. However, we are always looking at different ways of being able to support different communities, different programming, and don't be surprised if there's something new up our sleeves. Just keep an eye out on our newsletter. That's the way to always stay up and in touch with us. And yeah, if anyone wants to add any other notes, and I'm gonna open it up.
Yeah, this was a terrific program, Carla. And starting when it did during the pandemic, it was just a really good thing. And so I'm really glad I had the opportunity to be part of it. So that's great. But I'm feel bad that it's going away.
Thank you, Rachel. It's really funny how, as I was getting ready for the meeting today, I was thinking a lot about a recent experience I had. I went and I did the 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat. And within the body framework, they teach you that the only thing that is, how do I say this? The only thing that is certain is change. And it's so true. And I see that like everything changes. And I see how, at a certain point, like when we started the program, where I was at that current moment where we were having the discussions. And because believe it or not, before we launched it, right, it was like 6 months of discussion and how we're going to do it and how it's going to work. And then I'm like, wow, like we're almost 4 years actually for me, right? 4 years of like working on the program and doing all the things that we've done throughout the years with the program. And it's like, it's just things are always evolving and changing. And I have hope that with 52 and where we're headed, that we'll be able to continue to support programming in the future that might again include something similar. I don't know what that really looks like. I do know that we're at a point in time where change is needed in a lot of facets of the challenge, and we will be making changes because we know that what we offer and what our program and mission is so helpful to people, and it is so life changing. And yes, I'm really sad that I had that news for you, Elizabeth. But I do want you to know that there is still the opportunity to continue to make friends, and build your own mini communities. So don't be discouraged, please. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of going to that retreat and realizing, that in fact, everything is constantly changing. And you see that within the framework of the body, but it's just life. And, it really, it's sad. It's sad to, to not have the gatherings and see you all here. And at the same time, I'm also excited for you all, and I'm excited to hopefully even have some of you potentially come and talk to Tiffany about being a 52 hike challenge leader in your local state, because we are always looking for help within those groups. And I've seen it grow so much. And we have, you know, a couple of retired leaders who are like so active and starting to get their community out. And we almost hosted over 100 events last year with our leaders. And so that's what I'm going to be focusing on, is growing that part of 52, and we have been growing. And so I would love to see you all maybe one day be a part of that and giving back in that way. So thank you so much, everyone. And Tracy wants to know, can you please tell us how long the video recaps recorded? Oh, okay. Those will all, the ones that are through YouTube, there's a list that was sent. It's like a little document and it has all the recorded links. All the ones that are available via YouTube will be available. That's why I started putting them on there. So they'll be available pretty much indefinitely. There were in the beginning some videos that were on the drive. I'm gonna leave those there for now. If at any point ever we needed space, or for whatever reason those videos needed to be moved, I would probably upload them to YouTube and just update the links. If anyone needs those, what I'll do is I will, in the next follow-up emails from today, I will put a link to all of those documents that had all of the recordings of the meetings from this program. So that way you can refer back to them if you ever needed to. Stephanie said, thank you to the mentors. You are amazing. And yes, mentors, thank you so much. I have really enjoyed seeing your posts in the groups and how you've committed to educating, you know, this year's participants, and how you know, post little inspiring messages on there. It's really special. Shelly said, I'm so thankful for the opportunities, friendships I've gained. Thank you. Aw, Sherry, this has been a special group. Everyone who said thank you to me, thank you. Appreciate that. And it does really, and I'm like, I don't know, like it feels funny that I'm here with my mom right now, and like I'm helping her to live out her dream, and she's 70, you know, she's over 70 now, and to be able to be with you all and kind of just know like it matters, you know, us showing up for each other matters. And I didn't want to get emotional, but I also think it's important to be human and to be sad and to have love and care for each other, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Because there's so much division in the world and we need more unity. So thank you.
Well, have a wonderful time in your Patagonia trip and the rest of your time there. It sounds wonderful, and hopefully I'll get to run into you again someplace over the years.
Yeah, I think for sure 52 will also be continuing to offer, like I said, some trips annually, or maybe some more retreats, local things, maybe 3-4 day type things. So I really do hope that, you know, at some point you all will join some of those, because I think there is a need and desire, like I said, for that in-person community.
Mm, yeah.
Judy, thank you so much for your sweet message.
For this Santa Fe trip, I noticed the cabins were gone. So it's only for RV and camping?
Yes. So that would be a great opportunity, Judith. Come practice camping with the campers.
Oh, well, I better get on it before I procrastinated and didn't sign up right away. Okay.
Send me an email.
Because New
Figure
Mexico, I
something out.
drove through there and it's really beautiful, New Mexico.
It's so beautiful, and that place where we're gonna be at is gonna be incredible. So, but you know, you can practice, and we have communal rooms, so for like activities. So even if like you're camping, you have a place to be during the day. Like there's places around the ranch. It's not like you'll just be on, you know, in the hot tent or something. We'll be doing activities, and we have a community air conditioned room where we could spend time if it gets a little warm during the day. There's also a lake right across the way, which is absolutely refreshing and lovely. Tiffany came this year to visit, and we went to the lake, and I was like blown away. I was like, this is so great. I didn't know there was a lake here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
All right, everyone. Well, I'm so appreciative. I'm so thankful to you all for all the beauty and the messages and the friendships that have been made. And we will be posting these announcements on the Facebook group and also on the page. And like I said, you know, I'm always here if you want to get involved in some other way. I'm accessible through my email, hello@52 Hike Challenge. And I'm not leaving the meeting without giving away the last pair of oboes footwear for this meeting. So give me 1 second while I do the random number generator. Let's see who the lucky winner is today. All right, I picked a winner. Let's see. I'll let you know in a second.
Rachel, is your husband better?
Are you thinking of from our Indonesia thing?
Yeah.
He couldn't go. Yes, he is. He is better. He improved while I was gone, actually. I had a great trip. I wish he could have gone, but it was really wonderful.
That's good.
Except for him not being there. But yeah. But thank you for
All right.
asking.
You're welcome.
Sorry, it's taking me a minute. My screen here is acting up a little bit here. Okay, here we go. Dawn. Dawn won a pair of
Yay, Dawn.
shoes.
Aw.
So please message me at hello@52hikechallenge.com to claim your prize.
Yay.
You're welcome. All right, and with that, everyone have a good night, and we will see you on the trails.
Yay.
Thanks, Carla. Bye. Bye,
You.
Judith. Bye, everybody.
Bye.